Hey everyone, welcome back to the Talking North podcast. On this episode, I've got passionate North Melbourne fan and digital creator Mark. Welcome to the podcast, mate. How you going?
Good, how are you, mate? Good to be here.
I'm good. So to start off with, what's your experience as a North Melbourne fan been like?
Oh, I've been a North Melbourne member literally my entire life. So my dad signed me up to be a member while I wasn't even born yet. So literally before I even had a birth certificate, I was a North Melbourne member. So when I came out of the womb, I had a North Melbourne certificate ready to go. So I've been a member all my life. And then yeah, just been around the club, love footy, especially in, that early period, in like 2010 to 2016, 17 was a really good period. So it's really when I got on board. And then yeah, since then I've just been a fan. Love the game, love the sport, and obviously love North Melbourne.
Yeah, that's amazing. You mentioned the mid 2010s. Any memories, fond memories of North Melbourne stick out in particular?
Oh, heaps. Drew Petrie, always Drew Petrie. Frank the Tank celebration, that's always my number one. I was at that game, so I'll literally never forget that. Sitting in like the third row above the goals when he scored that, it was really awesome. But yeah, I was there for Brent Harvey's 427th game, I think it was. Being there for all those milestones, and yeah, just literally like try to beat every game possible. So yeah, that's my number one. It's always Drew Petrie.
Yeah, I think I'd have to say the exact same. I was the 2014, 2015, we played three finals at the MCG and we won all of them, and I was
Yep,
at all of them. I
yep.
also the Todd Goldstein mark in the Geelong game is pretty memorable as
Oh
well.
yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah, and then for me, just anything that Brent Harvey did,
yep.
that he was my absolute hero growing up. So, but yeah, sounds like we have a pretty similar experience growing up as North Melbourne fans. Um, Tell us a little bit about what you do in the media space. Like it looks obviously you got a pretty good setup here.
Yes.
What kind of stuff? What kind of stuff are you doing?
So I work in broadcast production and content. So I do a bunch of different stuff in the esports industry. So if you like video games, I'm your guy. At the moment, I produce the Rainbow Six Siege Esports League. So we do all the content and production for that, which is really fun. I also make my own content on the side. I love Magic the Gathering and like nerd hobby stuff, I guess you want to call it. So yeah, I get around and do that. And then yeah, I've been getting into more like North Melbourne based content just as like I don't know, as a consumer, I guess. So yeah, I've really been enjoying all the podcasts, including yours, which is why I'm keen to be here.
Appreciate it, mate. Yeah, no, it sounds like you got some good stuff going on. So, what did you study at university to get to the point where you are now with your high level production camera stuff that you're doing?
I was studying media communications and design. I was always studying while working though, so I never actually finished my degree in the end. I ended up just getting more jobs in esports. And I was working for a venue at the time called Fortress, which is like a gaming venue. It's got like an arena and stuff like that. So we used to do a bunch of events there. And then from there, I was doing more production stuff. And then I eventually was traveling a lot, doing a lot of content overseas, especially in Japan. I've been to Japan 3 times this year, which is exhausting. And then, yeah, I've kind of just been working since now.
Yeah, amazing. Sounds like you got some good stuff going on. Let's move towards North Melbourne. So currently we sit at 7 wins and 6 losses this season. Crazy to think we have a positive record this far into the season.
Yeah.
We're on a 3 game winning streak despite how we've been playing. We have won 3 games in a row for the first time since 2019. How are you feeling going into this last stretch of the season?
Obviously, I'm nervous. I saw a post on the AFL Instagram about how we have a really hard run home, including Essendon as well, which is hilarious. Whether or not that's really hard for us, or whether we're locked in and ready to go, is obviously up to the next couple of weeks. I think it's just good to get three under our belt in a row. I'm pretty sure it's Harry Sheezel's first time ever having 3 wins in a row. So that's a small little achievement for him and the club in the last couple of years. And I'm just nervous for this week, I think. I think everyone's a bit nervous to see what happens now.
Yeah, no, fair. It's we've had these easy opponents and it literally is going to get harder from here each week. I think we're playing a
Yep.
team further. We are playing teams further up the ladder, so
Yep.
it's probably the perfect way to test if we are ready to make the wild card or not. Do you think we can make the wild card? Do you reckon we can sneak into 10th spot by season's end?
I think we can. And obviously, I'm biased as a North Melbourne supporter. I think this week will be very telling. Obviously, the Adelaide Oval curse is upon us. But we have so many winnable games, especially against Port Adelaide, Collingwood, St Kilda's in there as well. Those are 3 games which I think we can really be competitive and win if we're locked in and ready to go. The others, we'll worry about the others when we get there.
Yeah, take it as they always say, take it one week at a time. We don't want to get too ahead of
Yep.
ourselves, and I think we've actually done that pretty well. Not maybe not as a fan base, but I feel like the club have taken that idea of one week at a time really well, going into each game as a different game completely. Like I don't know
Yep.
if you saw yesterday Harry Sheezel's pre-game speech. He was like, "We're not at the level yet to take wins for granted. Take the lesser teams like Essendon for granted because we were not that team not that long ago. So I think one week at
Yep.
a time mentality is perfect right now.
Yeah, I agree. 100% agree.
So looking back to last time we played Port Adelaide, it was actually probably arguably our
Round
best
one.
performance of the year. A 45-point win at Marvel Stadium, just such an amazing way to start the season. What do you remember from this game?
I remember Larky kicking four. Common even kicked a goal, I'm pretty sure, which was hilarious.
Yeah,
And I just remember it really set the tone for me on the year and really I got excited for what North Melbourne could be doing this year when I saw that. I don't think anyone expected us to win. I tipped us, which was stupid, but we got there. Um, and I just remember like we were quick. There was so much pressure. Larky was kicking straight. And then yeah, it looked like we looked like a different team.
yeah, it was. I think to date, even now, it's probably the most complete performance we've had under Alistair Clarkson. I mean, maybe look
Yep.
at Melbourne last year, but I feel like that was more of a fluke performance. I think,
Yep.
considering we've won 7 games since round one, I think sorry, 6 games since round one, I think that performance it was such a perfect start to the season and it was so I think we it was one game that we it was a game we actually won every quarter, which is so rare for us. There's not even in the games we've won this year, we've dropped one quarter usually if it's the last or the first, and I think it was a game where
Yep.
we won every quarter pretty comfortably. And I remember it was the first time Horn Francis played against us in Melbourne. Were you booing him? Were you getting into that kind of
Nah,
aspect of
nah,
the
I
game?
don't boo people. It's just
Oh
yeah,
really? Yeah.
I'm not a booer. I understand why people make the moves, but it's part of the game. It's a business at the end of the day, and people have to look out for themselves. I think it's really special that we have players at the club like Sheasel that are committed for the long haul. But if people want to make that decision, it's good for them. It's up to them at the end of the day.
Yeah, I gotta say I was one of those people, but I feel like it was I kind of just had to get it out a little bit because
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah,
it had built up so much, and I think it was kind of helped us. Maybe not necessarily the players, but I think that kind of like lifted the spirits a little bit to start the season. Like this is like if we can beat Port Adelaide with Horn Francis in Melbourne, like that'd be such a good start to the season. I don't think
yeah,
I'll do it again. I think a lot of
yeah,
fans will, but I think I just needed that one game where I did. Like on Sunday, no one even booed Ben Mackay. Like no one cared
yeah.
because it's
I
it's
don't
gone
think
to a
anyone likes Ben Mackay. I think that's why.
yeah, and it's gotten to a point where they're actually a worse team than us. So it's kind of
Yeah,
bullying. It's more bullying if you boo someone that's actually kind of gotten worse as a player. Whereas fair play to Horn
yeah,
Francis, he's thriving at Port Adelaide. Let's get more into Port Adelaide as a side. So they've had a bit of an interesting season. Obviously, they started the year really poorly with that loss to us, and then a loss to West Coast not much longer. I think they're at 5 wins for the season. But I think from what I've seen, they're a much better team than that. They're one of actually the best
yeah.
defensive teams in the league. They've gotten scalps against Geelong and in the showdown last week against Adelaide. Who at Port Adelaide, aside from the obvious, what's the threat, do you reckon, for us going into this Port Adelaide game?
I think it's just our defense again. We say this every week. I know that they've been playing Butters up forward now as well. I think they're kind of figuring out their midfield without Butters because obviously he's leaving at the end of the year. Well, we'll see, but I think it's pretty much confirmed by now. So yeah, I think I made a post last week talking about our defenses again, but I think the main thing, and I think that's been the focus for the club of the last 2 weeks, is trying to limit goals, and that was the focus in the Richmond game. And obviously, we tried to do that again in Essendon, didn't really work as well. But in a team against like Port Adelaide, like especially at Adelaide Oval, they'll punish us. We need to be kicking straight, and if we're not doing that, I'm really worried that Butters is going to put like 3 goals on us or something.
So you see Butters' threat actually like more up forward rather than the damage he can do at midfield. Do you see him as someone that can
Yeah,
actually damage the scoreboard against us?
I think that's what they tried doing in Adelaide last week. Against Adelaide last week, I was in Adelaide as well. But if they're going to play him in the forward line more often, I think it's something to be worried about.
And Sherry is back. Yes,
Yeah,
that is huge because I was going to mention Jordan Sweet, Port Adelaide's ruckman, has been in insane form recently. How did you read Coleman Jones and Will Dawson in the ruck against Essendon?
Uh it's it's interesting. I think I saw this on the talk on the other North Melbourne podcast. I've forgotten the name right now.
Further north?
Further north mentioned that
Shout out Josh.
Coleman Jones, shout out Josh. Josh said that Coleman Jones is a known quantity, and I think that is what
Yeah.
I really remembered. I think that was his quote. And basically, I expected that. I saw Goad play in the VFL that day anyway, and he did well. We won
Oh, you went to
after
the
the siren.
VFL as well.
They were playing it at the like the members club or whatever, but we
Oh, I
won
was I was in
after the
there.
siren. Essendon kicked a goal, but yeah, and
Yeah.
everyone was screaming, yeah.
Yeah, while Croc
But I
was trying
think
to talk and he kept on getting cut off.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think Goad played well there. And
Yeah.
I'm excited for him to come back. And again, I understand why Coleman Jones is meant to be like the known quantity, but I like seeing Trembath in the ruck. I really like him. He's just such an athletic person. So, whatever decision they decide to make, I'm happy to see everyone there now. And just if they want to try out more people, sure, go for it.
Yeah, true. So you mentioned you think Goad might come back in. Let's jump to potential team changes. So with Sherry fit, do you think the
Yep.
changes will be Sherry and Goad for Coleman, Jones, and Dawson?
I would like to think so. I think we're a better team that way, and it gives Trembath more flexibility to kick goals, especially now that we don't have Paul Curtis for another week. But who knows? Like, really, I'm not clued in enough, I think, to really know for sure.
Yeah. Do you see any other team changes occurring? Do you think maybe a Dersma or Spargo did kick 2 goals, but do you think that there's going
He
to be
he
a
didn't
player
play
that
well,
might,
yeah.
yeah, do you think there's going to be a player that makes way? Just like being dropped purely?
There was a lot of criticism to Dersma. I think he only had 8 disposals or something. And Spargo, yeah, he did put on goals late, especially when they mattered as well. I think he kicked one set shot and then one on the run.
Yeah.
But I just felt like every time they had the ball, it wasn't as impactful as some of our other players. But to who they were replaced with, or even if they are replaced, I don't know, because they've been in the side pretty much every week, if not every week, for the whole year now. So we'll
Yeah,
see what
yeah,
happens.
no, you're right. If I looking at it, if I had to do if I had to predict or if I had to do the team changes myself, I would yeah definitely bring in Sherry and Goad for Dawson and CCJ 100%.
Yeah,
I would actually drop Dersma. I think he needs a few weeks in the VFL to get that confidence back because he was playing with confidence to start the season, but a month without a goal as our only
yeah,
medium-sized forward that doesn't do much other than kick goals, I don't think he's good enough. So what I would do,
yep,
I'd actually put Zerha forward and then bring in Riley Hardeman for where Cameron Zerha's been playing. So I would still
yep,
keep Luke McDonald out. I think Luke McDonald is nearing retirement, and I think sooner rather than later we're going to get a Luke McDonald retirement announcement. I think that's why he got managed for this Essendon game to bring in
yep,
Goda because we've got to be realistic with ourselves. Our defense next year, the three medium-sized defenders are going to be Goda, Hardeman, and Archer. We might as well bring Goda in for McDonald, you know. So I
yep,
think they want to. I think they'll want to play Hardeman and Goda together because they haven't played together for I don't know if they've ever played an AFL game together. So I think they'll
yeah,
want to try that sooner rather than later. So I can definitely
yep.
see Hardeman coming in for Dersma and Zerha going forward. Would you be happy if that change was made?
I think so. I think like I think we're just finding more and more form every week, and the more we figure out what we're doing, the better we'll come in. Not to just the rest of the year, but next year as well.
Yeah, for sure. It's all about future proofing, and I think
Yeah,
McDonald, as an experienced head, probably understands that his time is done,
yeah.
nearly done. So, yeah, I think it's a selfless role that McDonald's going to be playing for the rest of the season. I'd say. Let's get into where we think we might win this game. Looking back to last time we played them, we dominated them at midfield. Finn O'Sullivan actually kept Butters. He had a lot of possessions, but he kept him fairly quiet. And Horn Francis, I think, had a bit of an injury, so he started the season really poorly. What area of the game in particular do you think we can get on top and maybe not say pull off an upset, because I think it's pretty 50-50, but get our first ever win at Adelaide Oval?
I think it always comes back to our midfield, and the entries we take from our midfield into the 50. I think we did okay against Essendon. We just didn't kick straight. I think that was just the most evident thing. And if we're continuing that pressure we have in our midfield, I think our midfield is just much better than Port Adelaide's around the board. It's like a holistic team.
Yeah.
But we need to kick straight, and we need to enter the 50 well and confident. And obviously, I think there's going to be a bit of nerves given our record and the curse we have in that oval. So yeah, I think if we can get clearances out, especially with Sherry back now, and Lucky is kicking straight and Trembuth is taking contested marks, I think we've got it.
Yeah, no, I think the midfield battle is always the most crucial aspect. But I'm looking, I think, where I think this game can really lean in our favour is if this game is a shootout. If it's a high scoring game, I think we win because you look
Yep.
at Port Adelaide's offense and it's genuinely one of the weakest in the AFL. So they are 15th for scores for, which is just very low. I mean, they're 15th on the ladder. They probably should be higher, but they're 15th for
Yeah.
scores for, where I think we're around the middle range, maybe in the upper echelon. So I think if this game is high scoring, if it's a battle of who can get the centre clearances quicker and get inside 50 quicker, I think we win because I think
I think we're better at that.
we're more damaging in terms of scores from centre clearance and just scores in general. Where Port Adelaide will win this game is if it's a slog, and we've shown a bit this year that we can win in a slog, but if it's against a quality defence like Port Adelaide, who are fifth for scores against, they're one of the best defences with the likes of Aaliyah. Not sure who the other defenders are, but they've just got a solid Zerk Thatcher. He's pretty good as well. If it's a slog,
Yep.
I think Port Adelaide win, but I think if it's a shootout, we win. Hopefully, it's a dry day in Adelaide that will suit us. It is at night. It's a bit dewy. Maybe Adelaide Oval. We hate playing there, but I think if it's a
Yeah.
if it's a shootout, it'll suit us. Um, and then yeah, in the clearance battle, it is pretty even. I was looking at some stats. Port Adelaide are eighth for clearances. We're 10th, but that doesn't
Yep.
that doesn't necessarily correlate to the damage from clearance. I don't think they're very damaging from clearance. I think from centre clearance in particular, they're better and more at stoppages with the likes of Butters and Horn Francis that can break the lines. But you look at last week's game against Adelaide, and they went crazy at centre clearance. They scored so much from there. But I think we are a better midfield than Adelaide. Do you think we need to tag Zach Butters? Is that something that we need to do?
I think so. I think if he's playing in the midfield again, or if he's going to play in that forward half, if Foss wants to go on him, that's good. It's proven to work, at least work well enough. But I think they're just going to try to continue to experiment with Butters not being like the most damaging player, especially in the midfield. Now that they're trying to figure out what they're going to do without him, and I think that was evident last week, and they still played well. So if they continue to do that again, maybe we don't, but we'll have to see when the lineup's out.
Yeah, for sure. I think Port Adelaide, they did get that win against the Crows on the weekend, but I think realistically they know that there's probably no point in them making wildcard this year or making finals. They might as well. They're not going to tank. That's not what Port Adelaide are going to do. They're
No,
going to
no, no.
obviously want to win every game, but I think this game means more to us than them.
Yeah,
So I think that gives us a bit of an upper hand. But at the same time, our group has not faced this sort of pressure before. The pressure of having to win a
yeah.
game to be in contention. That's not the kind of pressure we've ever faced. Whether or not we crumble to that, who knows? But I think my kind of read on the game is that we need this more than them. And will that help? I'm not sure. Maybe they want to send out Butters in a better fashion. If you had to, right now, give us a prediction of who's going to win and by how much, what are you saying?
I think it's close. I think there's a goal in it. Port Adelaide's known for a close game this year. I
Yeah.
reckon it's a goal either way. I'd like to think it's a goal either way. Whether we're up by, a goal, whether they win by a goal, I think it'll be close.
Who do you think wins though? I want who you think's gonna. Who are you
Look,
tipping?
my heart says North Melbourne, and I'm tipping North Melbourne.
Yeah.
But I am very, very like aware of the pressure that this game has, and it's not just like who our opponents are; it's where we're playing, it's the history we have. It's even last time we played Adelaide, like that second quarter against
Oh
Adelaide was
God.
like that's nightmare fuel. And I
Yeah.
think like there's going to be a lot of jitters, and we don't have Curtis, and Curtis is such a great goal scorer for us, and there's a lot of things that there's a lot of pressure points that could make this game make us play not to our best ability. I'm really, really aware of that. But my heart still says North Melbourne. It's always going to say North Melbourne.
Yeah. Fairs. I think as soon as the Essendon game ended, I immediately thought of this game and I said, we are not winning.
Yep.
Like that's
Yeah.
what I thought.
Same.
That's what I thought straight away. And the night before I watched the showdown. And I was like, geez, Port Adelaide look good.
Yep.
But Port Adelaide do this. I think this is the story of their whole season. They have a result like this or the one against Geelong that kind of covers their their form throughout the whole year. And
Yep.
I didn't think Sherry would be back. I thought he would be out for this game,
Neither.
but I think the fact that he's back is massive. I think it's genuinely swung my tip. So if I had to give a prediction, I would say North Melbourne will win by 8 points. I think it's going to be close, and
Yep.
I, we're not at the, we did smash them in round one, but I think we are a completely different team at Marvel, right? We're 7-1
Yep.
at Marvel this year, and we're 1-6 away from Marvel this year. And obviously at Adelaide Oval, we're 0-13, I'm pretty sure. But I think
Yep.
this group is ready to take the next step, and I think the next step includes winning a game at Adelaide Oval. I think that's huge.
Yep.
And I think LDU and Sheasel had incredible performances on the weekend, and I think that it's their time. I think it's their time to really show that they want this. They want finals. They want, like, I think
Yep.
this group is ready. I want to think that, and we might not be, but I think a 3-game winning streak, despite them not being the best wins, is good. Like, it's good form going into a game like this. So yeah, I think we get the job done, but it'll be bloody
It's
close, I
close.
think.
It's close. I think a statistic, I'm pretty sure we're 0-14 at Adelaide Oval now
Oh,
since our
14.
last game.
Yeah, right.
But here's a statistic that makes it less painful. We've lost 10 of those games to Adelaide, only 4 to Port Adelaide. I'm
Okay.
fairly certain of that. So if there's anything, it's maybe that, we haven't had our real fair chance against Port Adelaide at Adelaide Oval yet. And the last few
Yeah,
years we can write them off. So I think, like, if now's the time to break the curse, if there's any time to break the curse, it's now.
definitely. And I said that last time against the Crows, but that was just me being naive. The
I was
Crows are
confident. I was yeah.
yeah, I tipped us. It's
Same.
terrible. But yeah, the Crows are a much better side than Port Adelaide, and this is probably the first time we've played at Adelaide Oval in the last 10 years where we've actually been above the team we're playing. We're always
Yep.
lower on the ladder than the Crows or Port when we play them there. We're actually above Port Adelaide. We've won 2 more games. We beat them earlier in the year. It's
Yep.
it's different. It's definitely different, and I think we can rise to the occasion, but we also might not. Like, it's a new type of pressure here.
Yep.
Yeah. Have you seen the rumors over the last few days that, or not? I don't know if it's a rumor. It might be true, but that we're chasing Lockie Ash from the Giants.
Yes.
Do you have any
I saw
thoughts
that yesterday.
on that? Do you think that's something we should go a play we should go after?
I think it's mixed. I think everyone always is going to talk about how, we need a key defender. We need a key defender. Lucky Ash is a good player statistically. On paper, he is above average on almost all statistics, at least from what I saw from the AFL app yesterday when they were talking about him. Whether or not he's the right decision, we will never know. We'll never know. We'll have to see how he gels with the club if he is to come, and whether that's worth spending our time and effort in on the off season to try and chase. But also, like, North Melbourne was looking at, I'm forgetting his name now. He plays for Carlton, the key defender at Carlton.
Jacob Wiedering.
Yeah, Wiedering as well. Whether or not, if it's like a one or the other situation, or really we can target both, is also an important question as well, I think.
Yeah, unfortunately, I see Wiedering as a little bit unrealistic now. I think the rumours were around when Carlton were 1-8. Five
Yeah,
wins later, I'm not sure. And I think he is contracted for 4 more years at Carlton. Like, it's not like he's a free agent. Like, we'd have to
yeah,
pay a lot. Whereas Lockie Ash he's a restricted free agent, but he is out of contract at the end of
yeah,
the end of this year for the Giants. And I think the Giants are about to rebuild because Toby
yeah,
Green's likely to leave. Tom Green's probably going to go to Tasmania soon. Josh Kelly's probably about to retire. Same with Cornelia. They're about to lose their original core, and I think some of their good players around them are going to leave. Lockie Ash is, a Victorian. He actually won the medal in the State of Origin game, whether people agree with that or not. He's a quality player, but I'm a little bit worried about him as a signing. I kind
yeah,
of see him as looking back to a Jared Polek kind of signing. Jared Polec at Port Adelaide was a quality player. He was averaging, I think, around 25 touches. I think he was in and out of the All Australian squads, similar to Lockie Ash. And I don't think Lockie Ash is actually a player we need because you look at what he does. He's a halfback that isn't great defensively, but he's good offensively. He breaks lines. We've got that player. We have Colby McKercher. We have Caleb Daniel. Is it a player we need? I don't think so, and I don't know if we should spend. We're probably going to have to spend 1.5 a year for 5 years for him. I actually
Yep.
think it's a bit of a dangerous signing, to be honest. I know people want him, but I'd actually
Well, we're
lean
locked in for
against
life
him.
after that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm actually a bit worried if we do go after him because I don't think it's the type of player we need. I think getting a really high marquee player like that instead of prioritizing the positions we actually need is a path we've gone down before, and I think it could have more negative effects than positive. That might be a bit pessimistic, but I feel like I've seen this before.
Yeah.
Do you kind of share that same pessimism about Lockie Ash, or am I being too dramatic?
No, I'm a big pessimist when it comes to anything North Melbourne related, I think. Like obviously my heart's always there for them, but until we show proven results and real changes that are going to affect our club long term, which we're starting to see, but we haven't, we're not there yet. And that's, I think, the whole thing about North Melbourne. I'm always going to be pessimistic about anything that North Melbourne decides to do until there are proven results. But at the end of the day, my take on it is always like, I'm not in the talent rooms. I'm not the one making these decisions. So if that's truly what they believe, then I'll support that. And if they're going to show proven results, sure. And if they don't at the end of the day, then I'll be upset because I'm not the professional at the end.
Yeah, you are right. I feel like sometimes I go into like these trade rumors with like, oh, I know more than Brady Rawlings. I've seen this before, but like at the end of the day, I don't. They know more than me, and we can argue.
That's what I like to think. Yeah.
Yeah, we can argue the list management team have made mistakes in the past, but everyone does. It's so hard to tell with players and how they're going to gel in certain environments, and
Yeah.
I think we got to just, stick through it and let them make these decisions. And we can react to things we want, but at the end of the day, they know better than us. And I have to
Yeah.
constantly remind myself that because I do get a bit carried away sometimes. But Mark, thank you so much for joining me. I'm sure it won't be the last time.
Yes.
Maybe a possible collaboration in the future. We'll see. Yeah, thank you for joining, and hopefully the boys can get the job done on Sunday. It would be an absolutely massive win. But yeah, thank you for coming on.
Very keen. Thank you very much.